Yeah, those guys have been great, and like I said, there's no panic out there. They're confident. They take one at bat at a time, and they know that when the game's on the line, they're going to step up.
Yelich ground ball, base hit, center field.
I think the great thing about this team, and I've been saying it even in some of our losses, that we've been right there, and we just keep coming, and giving ourselves chances to have those big hits.
This is where Casey McGee liked to pay off that birthday present for Mike Redmond. McGee off of Herman into right field. Here comes Yelich. Ball game. Marlins come back and walk off again. Happy birthday, Mike Redmond.
Yeah, I told him after. I was hoping we could get one for him, but yeah, it was. I'm sure that was a good birthday for him.
It's not a day at the beach. It's Major League Baseball, and the Marlins have been making it seem that way. T-Mobile presents Tuesday Night Baseball, the best home team in baseball. The Marlins welcome in David Wright and the Mets. It's Game 2. Game 1, a thriller. Casey McGee ended it. Bartolo Colon starts it for the Mets, and Henderson Alvarez for the Fish. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Marlins and Mets, Part 2. It's been just a totally different feel from last year, and a lot of fun to come to the ballpark. And you see it in batting practice. You see it before the ball game.
Everything that Casey McGee was talking about is so true. And if memory serves me, at one time the Mets had a slogan, "You got to believe." But you know what? The Marlins believe. When they get behind, they feel they can come back and win a game.
And they've been able to come back and win games in a variety of fashions.
Yeah, that's the key. Sometimes you don't always have to rely on the home run ball. But you know what? The home run ball is nice, and it's fun to watch, especially when Giancarlo sends one the other way over 400 feet. When the youngster Christian Yelich finds the facing of the second deck, it's fun to watch the long ball. When Giancarlo hits a laser shot into the Clevelander, yeah, you know, the long ball is fun. But it's also nice to score with small ball. How about a base hit by Stanton? He's driven in a lot of runs with just getting the base hit and not the home run. An error by the Mets certainly factored in to the ballgame. A key hit by Jared Saltalamacchia. How about a sacrifice bunt? The Marlins have dropped a couple of those down over the last few days. And then Casey McGee with the game winner. So long ball, small ball, doesn't matter. They all equal wins.
And the Marlins improved to a Major League best 15-5 at home. Chevron starters tonight. The aged one, Bartolo Colon, goes for the Mets. And Henderson Alvarez goes for the Fish. So it's Alvarez, it's Colon, it's Marlins, it's Mets, and it's Game 2. What makes a good walk-up song? We'll find out. Tommy Hutton used to come to the plate with the Beach Boys blaring. Last night, roof wide open. Glorious night in Miami. Let's join Allison Williams down below. Allie?
Hey there, Rich. It is absolutely beautiful out tonight here at Marlins Park, and it is an email Twitter Tuesday here for Game 2 between the Marlins and the Mets, and we're going to bust out the hits for you tonight. Talk a little tunes. It's walk-up songs is the hashtag for our email Twitter Tuesday. Tweet us your thoughts on the songs players pick to come out and step up to the plate, too. And we can also hear from you on Marlins Ask DJ. Manager Dan Jennings will be in the booth in the third inning with Rich and Tommy. He'll be taking your questions, so you can join the conversation with the hashtag AskDJ, or you can email us foxmarlins@gmail.com. So as we're talking about the music, we heard from some of the Marlins about how they picked that perfect song to step up to the plate with.
It's Click Remix by Rick Ross. It's Rocky Fresh's part.
I switch up every year, but I always go back to Whiskey in a Jar from Metallica.
I didn't have a walk-up song for the longest time because the majority of my career is in Chicago, and we had the sweet organ that played whatever it was they were playing when we came up.
And I liked how it sounded with my stereo and everything in the car, and I just thought it was my walk-up song.
This year, I went with Ultimate Warrior's intro, because he passed away, and just kind of a tribute, something I was a big fan of his growing up as a kid, and just thought pay a little tribute to him as well. So
I picked Cameras by Drake, and I really don't know why I did that.
How'd you come up with it then?
I don't know. I just liked the song. I was like, I'll go with this for a little while, and if I don't like it, then I'll change it.
Yelich a bit indifferent when it comes to his walk-up song. So is Derek Dietrich. In fact, he has put it in your hands, Marlins fans. Tweet us your suggestions for what you think Derek Dietrich's walk-up song should be, and we will suggest it to him. And he says he will play it for his next homestand when he comes up to the plate. Whatever song you guys choose, you like the best and you think would fit for the Marlins second baseman, will be his new walk-up song. So send us your suggestions throughout the broadcast. Game 2 is coming up next. Henderson Alvarez on the mound for the Marlins as they look to continue their Magic City mojo. Game 2, Mets-Marlins on Fox Sports Florida.
Marlins Park in Miami. Henderson Alvarez gets the start in Game 2. Last night, the Marlins walk-off winners. Tonight, Juan Lagares, Daniel Murphy, David Wright for the Mets. And that drawn-out wind-up by Henderson Alvarez. Pinch-a-penny brings you the first pitch. And Alvarez misses up with a fastball. His shirt unbuttoned and askew, which is normal for him. and a fastball in the mid-90s, which is normal for him.
Yeah, that's good to see. There are times he doesn't get it quite to the mid-90s. We saw that, and then the variation in the changeup is a little different too.
Alvarez, last start against the Braves, 4 runs, 6 innings. Dots the outside corner. He started against the Mets on the 25th of April, 6 innings, 2 runs. So he's been solid throughout the year. Ligares, the Marlins missed him in New York, but he's back in the lineup and has been hot. There's that super sinker, which is actually a changeup that darts down at 91 miles an hour, if you can believe it. Throws that with a semi changeup grip. And he threw the same pitch and got a ground ball to third for the first out. Meet the Mets. Greet the Mets. Here come the Mets. They've dropped 4 of 5. They're 16-15. These Mets. Daniel Murphy follows Ligares. David Wright, Curtis Granderson, Chris Young, Lucas Duda, Travis d'Arnaud, Ruben Tejada, and Bartolo Colon. And here is Murphy, as you can see, very good on the road. Always very good against the Marlins. Heck, he's very good against everybody. This is a guy that always seems to be in that 290 to 310 area whenever the Marlins see him.
Well, he enters this season, and this is his 6th year as a major leaguer with a 290 career average.
And last night he got things started when he lifted a ball up into the home run porch in right field against Nathan Eovaldi. 2 batters later, Curtis Granderson hit one out. And I think the home runs by Murphy and Granderson even more impressive after you watched Eovaldi pitch the rest of the night and strike out 10 Mets and give up just 3 more hits.
It was a terrific learning process for Nathan Eovaldi last night. Gave up those quick home runs and then really started to pitch. Curveballs, good sliders.
Well, they jumped on some fastballs and hit them a long way.
And they were good fastballs. One was 97, one was 95, and the 2 left-handed hitters had no problem.
Murphy taps it. McGee to his left on the run. A nice play. 2 5-3s in the book for Henderson Alvarez. And here's the Marlins defensively tonight.
Been pretty solid on this homestand. There it is with Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton in the outfield. Casey McGee's made a couple of plays already. Echeverria, Dietrich at second base. Garrett Jones in there at first. And Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate. I would imagine tomorrow in the day game there'll be a few changes.
Mike Redmond talking before the ball game about trying to find a day or a game to give some guys a day off, in particular Giancarlo Stanton. Here is David Wright. You'd love to have Stanton in there every day, but as Redmond said, you also want a guy like Stanton to get to August and September and still have his legs. And so you have to get them out of the lineup. Alvarez, another high fastball, right, swings and misses. But he also said, Tommy, in a National League game, it's tough to give anybody a full day off.
Because you always have to have them ready on the bench.
Alvarez going with the 70s look with the wide open shirt and the gold bling. That one rode outside Fox Tracks.
How about the follow through?
How about the velocity? 97 miles an hour. He's one of the more entertaining pitchers in the game in terms of flair. That's some serious bling. I really haven't seen that on him. Two. And he bounces one up there. That's the power changeup at 91.
The interesting thing about that is most guys have an 8 or 9 mile an hour, maybe 10 miles an hour difference in their fastball and changeup. In Alvarez, that's not the case. It's usually about 5 or 6 miles an hour difference.
David Wright, couple hits last night, and he fouls it at the plate. Mets, an interesting ball club. They don't score a whole lot of runs. They had a stretch of good starting pitching, but that hit a major roadblock when they went to Colorado. Terry Collins ball club comes in a game over. Wright off the end of the bat sends it into center field, and it's in there for a hit. So 3 hits in the series already for David Wright, and it brings Granderson to the plate.
Stretches his hitting streak to 5 games. A little bit off the end of the bat. If he had squared that up, it probably would have been on the line to Ozuna, but off the end of the bat, and it dropped in front of him.
Now Granderson, he's hit in 6 straight, starting to hit, and that's a great sign for Met fans because there's a lot riding on Granderson. Mets need offense, and obviously they'd like some return on the dollar for the contract that Granderson signed. Ah! 4 years, $60 million, coming off an injury-filled season last year with the Yankees.
Yeah, Granderson just 61 games last year, 7 home runs.
Alvarez, as he is wont to do, Dietrich plays the carom and got him at second.
Saw the Marlins working on that play during BFP the other day.
They put that one in the spring. Sometimes Alvarez gets a little too rambunctious, and a heads-up play by Derek Dietrich bails him out. On Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Rethink possible. By Checkers. Visit your local Checkers for the $2 shrimp and fries box. And by your South Florida Honda dealers and sfhondadealers.com. Bartolo Colon delivers his first pitch outside to Christian Yelich. It's Yelich, it's Derek Dietrich, and Giancarlo Stanton against the stout Bartolo Colon, 5'11", 285.
See the numbers. He got hit around pretty good at Coors Field his last time out. Gave up 10 hits and 7 runs. You're going to see primarily fastballs. He'll throw 80-85% fastballs. But when he's on, he knows how to spot the fastball.
Right back to Colon, and he gets the out at first. So Yelich is down. Marlins lineup for the Fish, who have won 6 of 7, having a great homestand. Yelich in the leadoff spot. Derek Dietrich the start at second. Giancarlo Stanton in right. Stanton with 37 RBIs to lead the big leagues, a 7-game hit streak. Casey McGee's driven in 21. Jared Saltalamacchia, Garrett Jones, Marcell Ozuna. Look at Adeiny Hechavarria in the 8th spot, just 3 ticks under 300. He's hit in 7 straight, and Alvarez hits 9th. And here is Dietrich. Such a great departure from last year for the Marlins, who were dead last in the big leagues in on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and batting average. At the start of play tonight, Tommy Hutton, the Marlins are hitting .271. Their on base is .339. Their slugging is .428. All 3 of those figures are second in the National League. The Rockies lead all 3 categories. Frank Menechino, their hitting coach, deserves a lot of credit.
Well, he sure does, and we've talked about the things that he's tried to instill in his hitters, and so far so good.
Of course, Coors Field might deserve a little credit there too, but the Rockies are terrific right now.
Hey, Tulowitzki's hitting .408.
Dietrich hit, and he's on his way to first base. So Colon came in, Dietrich got hit, and here comes the Mets defense.
Well, the defense let him down a little bit last night, but other than that, it's been pretty solid. Chris Young, Lagares, and Granderson in the outfield. Wright, Tejada back in the lineup. Murphy at second. Duda over at first, and Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate.
Here is Stanton now. And a throw to keep Dietrich close at first.
Colon possibly thinking about that same play. Carom it off the wall and get the out at second base.
Colon gets a strike.
He adds and subtracts really well with his fastball.
And you know what? That's essentially what he throws, is a fastball.
He'll show you breaking ball once in a while. Trying to work Stanton inside. That's the way Jonathan Neese worked him last night.
Stanton 4th in the National League in slugging percentage. Leads in RBI. Drives it. Center field. Deep. And gone. Did it hit something? No. It stays in. Stanton to second. Scoring is Dietrich. Stanton calls timeout. That ball was coming down and glanced off the wall. But you know what? He hit a ball off the blue sign 2 weeks ago that came straight down. This one was in the same trajectory. Nope, it hit the top of the wall.
One of the few times that Stanton, when he rocks one to straightaway center field, didn't get quite all of it. But he got a lot of it. And just like that, the Marlins have a 1-0 lead.
And here is McGee. You remember the homer, it was to straightaway center, and it looked like it landed in the plants right above where that ball hit. Here's McGee. And he takes a strike. And on further review, we saw that the ball actually hit the blue sign above the batter's eye and went down into the plants. This one obviously hit the top of the wall just in front of the plants. And Colon misses away. It's 1-1.
Now on this shot, there it is, up about a foot from the top of the wall. That's a high wall out straightaway center field.
1-1 pitch. Into right field. That's a base hit. Stanton around third. They'll send him. Granderson up. Here's the throw. He'll score. And Casey McGee starts the night just like he ended last night with a walk-off. He drives a ball into right field, and Miami's got a 2-0 lead over Bartolo Colon.
Well, you get a guy in scoring position, and all of a sudden Casey McGee becomes a .400 hitter. 406 with runners in scoring position before this. And he takes that fastball out over the plate and shoots it into right field. Stanton scored easily. What a nice start. Remember, the one thing that's given Colon trouble, he's allowed 7 home runs. So if he gets that fastball up, he can get himself in trouble.
And here is Saltalamacchia now. Well, if the height of the wall where Stanton hit the ball is probably 15 feet up at least, and it's 418 feet from home plate to that spot.
My opinion, this is my opinion, I'll throw it out there. If you're going to have a high wall, it should be in left field or right field, not straightaway center field.
Oh, 1 pitch. And it's in to Saltalamacchia. We haven't even had time to throw out the first email or tweet. Last night, it was Cinco de Mayo. We had great festive music. We had fond memories of Alfredo Amezaga. We showed the amazing Amezaga play. Jorge Cantu's name came up. Here's the 1-1. And we wondered aloud where Jorge might be. We didn't see him on any major league roster or minor league roster. A tweet from Jorge Cantu. Thanks, Rich. I'm with the Doosan Bears in the Korean Baseball League. And the mariachi song still plays over here. So I guess that's his walk-up song in Korea. Into right field, a base hit. McGee is going to head for third. The throw, and he is out.
I'll tell you exactly why he tried. He knew if there was a regular alignment in the infield, he probably would have stayed at second. Give David Wright a lot of credit. Wright was playing well off the line. And this base hit finds its way to right field. Look where David Wright is. He's backpedaling. So Casey McGee is saying, you know what? Granderson's got to throw to a moving target. Wright's got to get back there. He did. It's just a good play by the Mets.
Saltalamacchia remains at first, and the Mets are going to extreme shift for Garrett Jones, just like they did for Saltalamacchia. With Wright playing at shortstop, Ruben Tejada on the first base side of second, and Murphy in shallow right field. Of course, we saw Jones cross up a shift last week a couple of times by driving balls into left field. Solid start for the veteran first baseman. Miami has 2 runs here in the bottom of the first. And Jones pops it up, and that's Wright who makes the catch. Miami gets to Colon, and they do it with a long double from Giancarlo and an RBI single from Casey McGee.
Está disponible por SAP.
Roof is open tonight. Another gorgeous night. 2-0 Marlins on top. It's an email Twitter Tuesday. Allison Williams is with us, the social media Contessa. Here's how to find us. At Fox Marlins is the Twitter account, or you can email foxmarlins@gmail.com. foxmarlins@gmail.com. Hashtag walk-up song or hashtag ask DJ. We're saving questions for Dan Jennings, Marlins general manager, will be here later in the show. And Allison Williams is collecting walk-up song suggestions. Granderson, Chris Young, Lucas Duda against Henderson Alvarez.
Got a nice tweet from Patrick Rich. He says he heard Mike Redmond on Jim Rome's show today. Enjoyable interview, personable. Watching the game on FS Florida from Pensacola.
Keats has a tweet for the crack staff. Can you put together a graphic showing this year versus last year offensive production from catcher and third base? Dietrich fires to first. We'll work on it.
Crack staff is going to update that for you.
Yeah, they're part of the whole email and Twitter Tuesday. Marlins Flex Packs. Take advantage of season ticket prices with the flexibility of coming to the ballpark when you want with as many people as you want. Get 20 ticket vouchers starting at just $13 a game. Pick up your Flex Pack today. 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com. A couple of hot hitters did not start last night against Nathan Eovaldi. Juan Lagares and Chris Young. Lagares had his 13-game hit streak snapped as a pinch hitter last night. Young on the road trip is 8 for 19 with 3 doubles. And he sends it out to center field. Ozuna is there. And the wind, you know, watching Stanton's ball and watching that ball and sitting as high as we are with wind in our face, you get an idea that the wind is coming through the windows off the ocean.
It feels, I mean, both nights, last night and tonight, have been absolutely beautiful, but I think there's a little more breeze tonight. We can feel it, and a couple of those balls hit into the outfield and center field, you can tell.
Yeah, just by the way the outfielders have reacted. Here's Duda now. There's your weather. 14-mile-an-hour winds. I don't think anybody really knows how this ballpark plays differently with the roof open and windows open. Just because it's too small a sample size and the wind patterns change. There are days where there's no breeze and everything's open and the ball shoots. And then days where the wind comes off the ocean through downtown and right in through the windows in left field. 1-2 to Duda. Duda 0 for 3 last night. The Mets chased home a run in the 4th after their 2 homers in the 1st. That was Bobby Abreu. And Abreu not in the lineup tonight. Check swing. He went around. Saltamacchia is going to have to find it. He does. Throw it. He does. And get the out. And he did that as well. 2-0 Miami. Tweet your photo using the hashtag FLFanPhoto. It's a chance to have it shown in an upcoming telecast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Marcell Ozuna, Adeiny Echeverria, and Henderson Alvarez against Bartolo Colon. Breaking ball misses outside to Ozuna. Emails and tweets tonight. Rowdy emails that he'd like to suggest that the promotional giveaway for the next Braves series. That one's cracked into left field, a base hit for Ozuna. And the Marlins have a runner aboard to start the second inning. Rowdy says, I suggest the promotional giveaway item for the next Braves series be a pair of binoculars for all fans who sit in center field.
I like that. Very good. Hey, by the way, I was curious to see if Colon would change things up a little bit. And he threw a couple of breaking balls, and he didn't throw a good one, and Marcell Ozuna hammered it to left field.
Echeverria takes a strike. And the 0-1. Edge pops it up. And Murphy is there and he makes the catch. Marlins Country Radio with a tweet. Please talk more about hashtag Golden Etch not only being a great shortstop but also having a great year at the bat.
Well, I like that because there was actually a tweet earlier about would the Marlins trade for Starlin Castro, and my question would be why. They have a tremendous shortstop in Adeiny Echeverria, and they don't need Starlin Castro.
Here's Alvarez. They may need him to bunt at this point. And he does. It's a hard one. Colon is going to get the out. It almost sounded like someone said 2. Colon was going to first all the way.
2. Yeah, you heard 2. That was probably the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud.
Copyright telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts, descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Here's Yelich now with a chance to add to the lead. Good speed with Ozuna at second. Outfield swung towards left center. That's where Yelich has shown he'll put a lot of balls, and Colon with a high fastball that's fouled back to the screen. Sherman to be proper with this tweet. Why don't the Marlins have any national telecasts on ESPN or MLB Network? The Marlins are on Fox Sports 1 coming up with the Braves series at the end of the month. And to my knowledge, that's the first appearance on a national broadcast for the Marlins. And I don't know that they're scheduled, but all of those networks have the ability to choose games and change schedules as the season goes. So you would hope and think that if the Marlins continue to play like they are, they'll get a little national love from somebody.
Well, they've shown excitement. They certainly have one of the game's best, if not the best, power hitter in Giancarlo.
Yelich drives it right center deep. Lagares runs it down and makes the catch. And again, I think that win holding it up. Still 2-0. Marlins lead. Marlins general manager Dan Jennings joins us right now, and he's smiling, and he should be. Your ball club has played very well just over a month of the season. Congratulations on the great start. What have you seen that is the biggest change from 2013?
You know, Rich, probably the biggest thing that Mike Hill and I talked about this offseason was to bring in players who were team-first guys. We knew we needed to upgrade the offense, and so we went around and we did extensive research on guys like Saltalamacchia, Garrett Jones, Casey McGee, Jeff Baker. You know, you look around and look at what these guys have meant to this ball club and the boost that they've given, and it certainly shows with their production early and the way they've mentored the young kids has been huge.
And that being said, the impressive thing about this bunch, because it doesn't always happen, you know this, you've been in player development for a long time, the young players all seem to have taken a step forward at the same time.
Well, we felt good about the direction of the young kids. I mean, some of them were only battle tested for 2 or 3 months, and but the ability is the ability. I mean, that's the one thing that certainly plays and wins at this level. And then when you get veteran players who've been a part of a winning situation, then they can convey a lot of lessons to young players, and it can speed the clock up. And that's what we feel like is happening right now.
Well, you led me to what I was going to ask you. How important is it for those veteran guys to help the younger players along?
Tremendous. You know, Tommy, when we brought these guys in, Salty's coming off a World Series win. Garrett Jones helps Pittsburgh do something that they haven't done in 20 years. Casey McGee wins a title in Japan. We bring in Fakal, who is 14-year big leaguer, 12 of them in the postseason. You look at Jeff Baker, part of some very good teams in Texas.
The turn by Dietrich, terrific. And he had a man right on him. That was Travis d'Arnaud. Dietrich is up and okay. McGee started a 5-4-3 double play.
Well, you got to like the way Casey McGee moved back on this, got his feet planted in the right spot. Good feed to Dietrich, and he always shows off a strong arm on the relay throw.
College shortstop at Georgia Tech. And Perry Hill always tells us it's a difficult transition, more than people think, going from the other side of the infield to second base. And that's the very reason right there.
It's tough when that runner's coming at your back and you can't see him. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to hang there and make the play. And Derek certainly, you know, this kid had such a great year at second base last year, and in spring training he showed us both at second and third. And then at the end he takes that horrible bad hop and breaks his nose, but he's a tough kid, and he's hung in there, and he's making the most of his opportunity.
Cologne looks rather reluctant at the plate.
I know you guys remember the game in spring training where he hit the triple, and it was about a 5-minute run to get to third.
All right, it's an email Twitter Tuesday. Giancarlo is coming up, and we've got questions for you, Dan Jennings, when we return. Experience Marlins baseball in luxury. Give your group a true VIP treatment with Legends and Fiesta Suites, offering the suite experience on a single game basis. All-inclusive food and beverage menus, premium seats, big screen TVs, personal service, and a perfect view of the game. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/groups. Dan Jennings has joined us up here in the booth, the general manager of the Miami Marlins, off to a great start in 2014. And while Tommy and I commuted to the ballpark, we got to hear you on Sirius, the MLB channel, with a national interview. You guys are doing more of those interviews. This ball club seems to be gaining a lot of national traction right now.
Yeah, you know, it's the great thing about that is it puts the lights on the players on the field, and that's what's the most important. And it's always fun to talk about guys that are playing well, and you know the old saying, winning cures all. And these guys, I tip my hat to Red and his staff and the way these kids have responded. And you know, we can be down in a game, but they're never out. They battle back every night, and they fight to the end.
DJ, I have a tweet here. Rich and I get this often, and I know it's one of those things you can't really deal with till it happens. But what did the Marlins do with their second base situation when Rafael Furcal is ready to play?
Well, I mean, we signed Rafi to be our everyday second baseman. So when he's ready, when he's healthy, and, you know, the very thing you love about Rafi is his energy and his drive and desire to be a catalyst and a leader. And some of that right now has gotten in his way because I think he wants to be here so bad that he's probably pushed himself a little quicker than he needed to. But when he gets back, he is the second baseman, and that's what he was signed to be. And, you know, then the other guys are going to go into roles, you know, of utility-type roles. And that decision we'll discuss, but ultimately it'll be up to Red, you know, as to how he uses those guys.
That bat shattered, and the business end went right out at Cologne. Stanton the other night had a similar swing which broke his bat, and he hit the ball to the warning track. Thankfully it didn't get any of Cologne. Pablo in Coral Gables, Andrew Heaney, what's the update?
Off to a tremendous start, and quite honestly, we were hoping he would have a little adversity, and he did the first game of the season. And you like to see that in a guy that's highly touted, that, you know, he struggles somewhere, so that you determine and see how they deal with adversity. And I think he bounced back with about 14 scoreless, so he's the kid's progressing very nicely. The reports every fifth night. He's pitching tonight, actually, and you know, there's been a lot of growth in him, utilizing his changeup more. Certainly, the slider is a tremendous pitch, and you know, it'll be just a matter of time before he's ready to compete at this level.
Now, DJ, there've been certainly a lot of positives, and we've talked about them. It's been a rough go for a part of the time, not all the time, but it's been a rough go for some of the bullpen. How do you see that playing out?
You know, I think now, Tommy, and again, we go in every night, you know, and we have great baseball conversations with Red and his staff, and I think a lot of it is that, you know, until guys truly you find their role, then it's a little bit of everything is scattered down there. You know, you've got Carter Capps, who jumped out now and has done a tremendous job in two inning outings. Certainly Cishek at the end has earned the right to be that guy. And I think some of it, too, I look back on the road trip when we lost 6 in a row, and I think a little bit of, you know, some of the pitches that were thrown and the results were not what we wanted. And you have to look, and, you know, Salty's never caught these guys. So it's going to take him a little time to get in the ebb and flow of what they feature and, you know, what they're going to have on a given night. But I think now I'm starting to see some signs of guys falling into the roles that they're going to have. I know Red and Chuck Hernandez, our pitching coach, they're getting more comfortable, and I think that's going to be a positive.
Strike to McGee. He's up with Stanton at first. Miami a 2-0 lead. Giancarlo Stanton, an RBI double in the first. Stanton now at 38 on the season. Casey McGee drove Stanton in with a liner into right. How much film did you watch of McGee from Japan?
We actually had some film we watched. We made some phone calls to people who had managed in Japan before. We tried to do as much homework as we could to find out, how his body was looking right now and what he had done different with his swing versus the multiple breaking pitches and split fingers that they use there in Japan. And every report that we got back is that he had hired a nutritionist. His body had shaped up, and that he was more in the middle of the field with his approach. And we have not been disappointed.
And we have not been disappointed by your visit. DJ, thanks for the visit. Congratulations on the fast start.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate
Thanks,
you guys
DJ.
having me
Always.
up. Now we got to find a way to take our home on the road.
That's right. Marlins hit the
That's
West
right.
Coast. If they can do that, then you really have something. Henderson Alvarez on the mound and in control right now. Our Geico quote, the Gecko says hello. And it's from Mike Redmond. I didn't get gifts, but I'll take the win. The presents stopped coming about 5-6 years ago on his birthday. Isn't that the truth? Lagares takes down low. Top of the order for the New York Mets. Juan Lagares, Daniel Murphy, David Wright. 2 singles. That's it against Alvarez. Liner deep right. Stanton won't get it. Bounces off the wall. And a speedy runner in Lagares is already at second before the throw comes close to the infield. So a leadoff double for the Mets here in the 4th.
Well, you talked about his hitting streak snapped last night, but with that double, he's hitting 17 of 19 now. Talented player, and the Mets just want to keep him healthy and keep him in center field. He plays a terrific center field. Ball hit well, sliced away from Giancarlo, but he made a nice play. He's playing it off the fence there, getting it back in.
Now Murphy. Soft liner that is foul.
Every time I see that fence out in right field, I think of Yasiel Puig. And I also noticed he, again, is not in the lineup for the Dodgers tonight in Washington.
He made one heck of an effort on that ball off the wall, which actually went off the wall and then off of his head. Roller to first, and Garrett Jones steps on the bag, and an out. Murphy moves the runner. Now Wright will try to drive him in.
Though Murphy got his job done, got that ground ball to the right side.
When the Marlins were in New York and they saw David Wright There were a couple of cases where Wright came to the plate with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. And you know what? Since then, he's been doing exactly what he did in those 2 circumstances. He knocked in the run 10 of 11 times. The major league average is 51%. Infield is back. Alvarez against Wright.
In this inning, Henderson Alvarez has used that breaking ball a little bit more just to show the Met hitters something new.
Fastball came in on Wright, and now it's 0-2. Thursday, yes, Thursday is the next Marlins Live pregame. Getting ready for late night with the Fish. Brought to you by South Florida Honda dealers. Greg Minervini and Preston Wilson in studio.
That'll be a Jacob Turner, Ian Kennedy matchup.
0-2. Right into center field. Ozuna comes on, makes the catch at the knees, and the throw home will keep the runner at third. Boy, Wright hit it on the nose.
Remember last time up, David Wright hit one off the end of the bat, and it dropped in front of Ozuna. I mentioned at the time, if he had hit it on the screws, it probably would have carried to Ozuna. This one he hits hard. Ozuna with a good jump, and because he has all of his momentum going toward the plate, Tim Tuffle, Mets third base coach, made sure Lagares held his ground.
And so Wright lines out, and here's Granderson with 2 outs. And Alvarez has a chance to get out of this without giving up a run. Lloyd has this email for you. Your opinion, Tommy. Who's more important to the Marlins, Jared Saltalamacchia or Casey McGee? He and his friend Morgan are having a friendly dispute.
Is that from Lloyd?
It's from Lloyd.
Lloyd, you had to give me a tough one right off the bat.
Wow. It's a friendly dispute. A strike, and it's 1-1.
You know, I love the job, and we both do, that Casey McGee has done driving in some key runs. But I got to go with Saltalamacchia because of the job he does, not only getting big hits, but what he's done behind the plate handling a young pitching staff. So the only reason I would go with Salty over McGee is because of the position he plays.
Some of the things McGee has going in his favor in that argument, the fact that he's been able to hit behind Stanton, offer some protection to Stanton, and when Stanton is walked, he makes the other team pay for it. Foul tip, and that went off the hand of Vic Carapazza, the home plate umpire. And that is something that was sorely lacking last year. He is a stylish right-hander, isn't he? Watch this. Swings that leg around. Strike a pose. What was the nickname DJ threw out there for him? The Entertainer?
The Entertainer.
To right, Stanton over and makes the catch. And the Entertainer gets very lucky in the fourth with 2 line drive outs to the outfield. And Lagares is left at third base. Miami and New York, a thriller last night. 2-0 Marlins tonight. Brought to you by T-Mobile, sponsor of Tuesday Night Baseball, and by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Glorious sunset on Miami, a busy night in sports. Magic City, Jared Saltalamacchia, Garrett Jones, Marcell Ozuna against Bartolo Colon. And Saltalamacchia with a shift on, trying to bunt against the shift, and he fouls it off.
Not a bad idea with him leading the inning off. You have men on base or they're 2 out. You probably wouldn't like to see that, but a good idea with nobody out, getting things started.
Oh, and 2. Outside corner. Colon gets Saltalamacchia looking. We check in with Craig Minervini.
Rich, thank you very much. Bartolo Colon will turn 41 later this month. He's had an outstanding career. He's only 9 wins shy of 200 in his career, 191 wins. Last facing the Marlins late September 2002. Very interesting fact. This is the second longest gap for a player to face the Marlins in team history, nearly 12 years. Only Bruce Chen, who faced the Marlins in 2001 and then later in August of 2013. That difference was 11 years and almost a full 12 years, 11 years, 339 days. That's the longest difference between facing the Marlins in team history. So it's been a while for Colon. Major League history, Red Roughing starts 18 years, just a little over that, between facing the Yankees, 1929 and 47. And Jamie Moyer, the all-time record. Who else? It had to be him for relief appearances. A gap of almost over 22 years. He faced the Braves in May of '87 and also in August of 2009.
Wow.
Sound like Tim Kurchin, all these numbers.
It's a long time. Young makes the catch. You just mentioned Bruce Chen. Last active Expos, Chen, Colon, Scott Downs, and Masier is Turris. Turris back in 2004.
Well, we talked about that trade when Colon was traded from Cleveland with Tim Drew, the older of the Drew brothers, a pitcher.
Colon fires a strike. Now
he was traded for Cliff Lee, Brandon Phillips, Grady Sizemore, and Lee Stevens.
It's a lot of talent in that one trade. Of course, the Indians didn't quite know what to do with Brandon Phillips. He never really panned out as an Indian, but the Reds sure liked him when they took him off Cleveland's hands for a song. That Lee guy turned out to be a pretty good pitcher.
Not bad.
And Sizemore is just an incredible comeback.
Make a little comeback this year
from all those surgeries and all the physical ailments. Breaking ball, Ozuna up the middle and through the wickets of Daniel Murphy into center field. The Mets came into this series as one of the best defensive teams in the National League.
And he made a big error last night, Quintanilla at shortstop, and this error by Murphy allows the inning to continue. And it also allows us to go to a tweet from Matthias, who asks us, Rich, most improved player hitting and pitching on the Marlins. I think it's well timed because I think we both agree this man, Adeiny Echeverria, who's stepping in, most improved with the bat.
7-game hit streak into play tonight, and he fouls it off. And he, one of the guys that gotta like it when you smell the bat.
Yeah,
hitters will do that when they foul it off. The old Ted Williams trick, see if they can smell the burned wood. Frank Menechino really worked with Echeverria. Balance, approach in spring training, and Etch has bought in.
And I think our most improved pitcher could be one of two guys, Nathan Eovaldi or Tom Kohler. Take your pick.
Big Salad. Wreck-It Ralph. Two good nicknames. High pop. Granderson over and there, and he makes the catch. Colon has settled down after 2 first-inning runs. Let's check in with Allison Williams. Hey, Dub.
Well, Rich, tonight we are talking walk-up songs for our Email Twitter Tuesday. Now, some guys are locked in on what their walk-up song must be. Other guys are more flexible. Derek Dietrich is one of them.
Yeah, you know what? That's why we're out there playing. You know, we play for the team and for the Marlins, but we're also playing for the fans. So, you know, I'm definitely open to the fans picking my walk-up song.
That's right. Fans, you can pick Derek Dietrich's walk-up song, whatever you want it to be. Tweet us your suggestions with the hashtag walk-up song. We've gotten a few of them already. Kelvin says, and I like this one, he suggests this is how we roll by the Florida-Georgia line, and it works, as Dietrich went to Georgia Tech, now playing in Florida. Joshua says, what is love from Night at the Roxbury? I like that one. That could be fun, a little different. And Laura going AC/DC with Thunderstruck. So some good suggestions so far. If you like those, go with that. If you've got one of your own, send them our way. We'll pick some of our favorites. We'll throw them by Dietrich, and who knows, next homestand, your song could be playing when he steps up to the plate. Guys.
Thank you, Allison. Tommy, there have been a few tweets wanting to know what your walk-up song would be if you were playing today.
I think if I were playing today, because back in the 70s they didn't have walk-up songs, but I think I would choose, I love this song, I would choose No Surrender by Springsteen.
Swing and a miss. Chris Young strikes out. Nasty breaking ball from Henderson Alvarez.
It's a pitch that after the first or second inning he's shown a little bit more, and that's a good sign because sometimes hitters get locked in on the two hard pitches, the hard changeup and the hard fastball. By the way, Andrew Heaney pitched today. They had a day game, went 6 innings, gave up 1 run, and got the win.
Hit hard by Lucas Duda into right field for a base hit. And the Mets have hit number 4 on the night. Travis d'Arnaud is coming up. 2-0 Marlins on top. It's the 5th. Major League Baseball on Fox Sports 1 is back. Doubleheader. Buster Posey and the Giants. Yasiel Puig trying to get back in the lineup with the Dodgers. Then the Indians take on the Rays. It starts at 3:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Doubleheader baseball on Fox Sports 1 on Saturday. Etch, Dietrich to Jones. 6-4-3. Alvarez getting a ground ball. Halfway through, Mets and Marlins in Miami tonight. It's Diamondbacks. Fish up 2-0. For the Marlins, Giancarlo Stanton, an RBI double. That was followed by a Casey McGee RBI single. The Marlins got their runs in the first inning against Bartolo Colon. Since then, Colon, who turns 41 in 2 weeks, has settled down. And he faces Henderson Alvarez here. Emails and tweets tonight. We'll take them all night. Allison is corralling a lot of the walk-up song references. Ryan wants to know, why do you call Kohler the Big Salad? Is it a Seinfeld reference? Well, Ryan, if you were not with us earlier in the season, there were a few interviews that Kohler did where his hair was just enormous. Whereas many would say he had a big salad on his head, so that kind of stuck. And Kohler actually said he likes the nickname, so there you go. Not a Seinfeld reference.
Clayton wants to know about Christian Yelich's background. Where did he play his early years? Well, Yelich from Thousand Oaks, California, played his high school baseball at Westlake High School.
Alvarez into right. Granderson is there.
So Yelich always enjoys going back to Southern California, and he signed out of high school. He had committed to the University of Miami. But Yelich worked his way up through the Marlins system, Greensboro, Jupiter, Jacksonville, and wherever he played, he hit. A career .300 hitter in the minor leagues.
Two-time minor league player of the year. And the Marlins usually have a pretty good contingent of California players on their West Coast swing. Yelich certainly, but Casey McGee, a Santa Cruz guy. Marlins will be up in his neck of the woods to finish the road trip in San Francisco Thursday at the Padres. Ian Kennedy, Jacob Turner. Colon misses outside. We're talking about Colon and his history. He does turn 41 in 2 weeks. This is his 17th season. He was terrific the last 2 years for Oakland, and it earned him a nice contract. But you also have to mention that he was suspended 50 games for testing positive for synthetic testosterone with Oakland back in 2012. Major League Baseball, the start of this season, actually announcing as Yelich fouls it back, stronger testing and harsher penalties for performance-enhancing drug testing and violations. And one of the things that they've continued to add are the carbon isotope ratio test, which is able to detect artificial testosterone. Some players were able to get around the test, but every player is tested, and every player will be subject to at least one carbon isotope ratio test this year. As well, the in-season violation.
And those are random.
80-game suspension now, which was a 50-game suspension. Strike 3 called. Whenever I have a question about drug testing, Major League's policy, and how it compares to other places, the source I go to is Tom Ferducci, our good friend at MLB Network, SportsIllustrated.com, and of course now with Fox Saturday Baseball. And I asked him, how does Major League Baseball's policies, especially with the new wrinkles in it coming this year, how does it compare to other sports? He said not only is it better than other sports, it's lapped all the other sports in terms of comprehensive testing and penalties.
And I think sometimes Major League Baseball and the commissioner's office does not get its due for that.
Dietrich swings.
A little off speed, a little changeup from Bartolo Colon, who won a Cy Young Award back in 2005 when he was with the Angels.
This is his 8th team. A strike. And of course, he was, when we were in New York, a bit of controversy was at the Post that had the unflattering photos and headlines, and the remark in the story when Pineda was caught with pine tar in his neck that if Colon was caught, it might be peanut butter. Ball into center field, a base hit for Dietrich. And around first, he'll hold there. Mets players weren't all that happy with the good-natured Barb. Colon is so unflappable, having watched him the last couple of years with Oakland. Not much bothers him. I mean, he's very calm, cool, collected, and it's just, here's my fastball, here's my two-seamer, I'm going to move it, I'm going to change speeds, go ahead and try to hit it.
You know, in 2010, he didn't even pitch. Pitched a little bit in the Dominican Winter Ball.
Stanton hit a ball off the top of the wall in center field. That was the RBI double. It extended Stanton's streak to 8 straight games, 38 RBIs. Troy Tulowitzki is now second in the National League in RBIs. Got jammed, dumps it into right field, base hit. Dietrich round second, on his way to third. And Giancarlo Stanton with a couple of hits. He's 2 for 2, and that'll bring McGee up. Runners at the corners and 2 outs.
That's a great example of a part of Giancarlo's game now that last year, a couple years ago, he didn't have. It's almost an inside-out swing. Yes, he gets jammed. He doesn't hit one 400 feet, but it's a nice swing on a pitch where Colon has continued to pitch him. He stayed inside, and with that base hit, he chased Dietrich over to third.
McGee drove a ball into right field to knock in a run in the first. Bounced into a double play in the third. So his third look at Colon. T-Mobile game changer. With men on base, Tulowitzki leads just about every category. 526, but McGee at 414 is in the top 5. And that's with men on base, and that's all of Major League Baseball, not just the National League.
Part of the transition, and we heard Dan Jennings talk about it when DJ was with us, about scouting Casey in Japan and asking questions and finding out about him. But part of it is stuff he's told us. He's become a lot more patient. He had to be over there as a hitter to have success.
Into center field, he does it again. McGee knocks in another run. as he rounded first, he looked out at second, and Giancarlo Stanton looked back at him and kind of tipped his cap to him, as if to say, thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
nice having you here.
I got you an AB with some men on base right back up the middle. I had some fun looking into some players of past history who've driven in 100 runs but didn't hit a lot of home runs. And in 1985, Tommy Herr, familiar name with the Cardinals second baseman, had 8 home runs and 110 RBIs. Talked to Keith Hernandez, who's next door on Mets television. Hernandez in his MVP season in '79, 11 home runs, 105 RBIs.
Saltalamacchia has singled and struck out. 3-0 Miami here in the bottom of the 5th. Left center field. Young there makes the catch. 3 2-out hits. Dietrich, Stanton, and then McGee again. A 3-0 Miami lead to the 6th and to Allison Williams.
Well, when Mike Redmond was a player, he had a rather notorious walk-up song. It was "We Don't Have to Keep Our Clothes On" by Jermaine Stewart, a reference to his clubhouse antics. Perhaps he needs a walk-up song, though, now that he's a manager.
Maybe I need a walk out song when I go out for like a replay or something. It's a challenge song. Maybe I'll be the first manager to have a challenge song. There we go. Now we're on something.
So Redmond had a good laugh. I like the idea, though. Maybe we need to take some suggestions here on our email Twitter Tuesday with the hashtag walk-up song, what his challenge song should be when he comes out to challenge the refs. Now, we had a question about from a couple of guys. George tweeted it in. He said, I'm having a debate with my brothers. What's Jeff Baker's walk-up song? Hashtag walk-up song. Well, I talked to Baker before the game, and he said for much of his career he didn't have one because he played in Chicago where they had the organist. He's going to make the play here to get the out. Now that he's here, he does have a walk-up song. It's actually a bit of an Army cadence song. He just kind of randomly picked it. He liked the way it works. But if you guys are having that debate, an easy resource to find out the answer, go to marlins.com/music. It'll actually take you to a website that has a list of all the Marlins players and their walk-up songs. And then from there you can click it, go to iTunes, and download it if it's available. So a good resource if you have that argument again. And if you go there, it actually says that it's a different song for Jeff Baker. It is Machine Head by Bush. But if you guys have that argument, just go to marlins.com/music, and all the walk-up songs are there.
All right. I like that. I wonder what Bartolo Colon's walk-up song is.
Well, the Mets pitching staff needs a walk-up song. The Mets pitchers are now 0 for 55.
Yeah, the Mets pitchers have not had a great year at the plate. And Cologne doesn't look like he's going to change that anytime soon. He's been smiling during his at-bats. Alvarez struck him out. I mean, here, Cologne is a guy that spent a lot of time in the American League with the Indians, with the Angels, the Athletics. He swings and misses and loses his hat. Two outs here in the sixth. Marlins and Mets finish off the series tomorrow, and it's a Crazy 8 Wednesday. It's a 12:40 start. Visit a participating Chevron. Fill up with Chevron with Techron gasoline. Bring your receipt to the ticket office. Up to 60% off lower level tickets. Restrictions apply. Juan Lagares now. Henderson Alvarez has been outstanding. Was he bunting? It hit him. If he bunted at the ball and it hit him, it's a strike.
First base umpire saying no, he did not attempt to bunt.
Mike Redmond is going to come out and talk to Vic Carapazza. Here's a look.
You had a talk, Rich, with some of the umpires today. They didn't look like he attempted about some of the things an umpire can review, some of the rules.
Well, there's a breakdown, and I think a lot of fans have seen it online, of kind of a replay scoreboard after a month of calls that were reviewed, reversed, call stood, call confirmed, and there's a small percentage, I think 3 times, where it's been a scoring decision or something to do with the scoring of the game. And so I asked the umpires today, what does that entail other than balls and strikes? Because that's the obvious one. You know, we've seen that happen where, I mean, we all do it. You lose track, I lose track. Hitters lose track, pitchers lose track. Umpires have lost track of balls and strikes. That's kind of the main one. But as well, the umpire said that, you know, other things could arise. Hitting out of order, liner, it's fair, down the left field line, and a 2-out hit for Murphy around first, and he's going to get to second. Holding third is Lagares. So the Mets now set up second and third with 2 outs. 9 doubles for Murphy this year.
Well, this is why Daniel Murphy keeps that lifetime average around 290. Came into this game this year hitting .312. He's 1 for 3 tonight.
And here is David Wright. So there's a few other procedural things in the game that the umpires can go to replay for, such as trips to the mound, batting out of order, a ground rule type or a protest type situation. This umpiring crew has not been one of the crews in New York yet. Talking to Bill Miller. They have seen pictures. They went in and saw the room or saw the building as it was being designed. But Adam Hamari, Greg Gibson, Bill Miller, and Vic Carapazza have not served their tour of duty, so to speak, in New York in the umpire command center. There's a 1-0. Bouncer to short. Echeverria on to first in time, and Alvarez pitches around second and third, and 2 outs. 3-0 Miami. And on a gorgeous night in Miami, with South Beach all lit up, Marlins Park, where the Marlins are the best home team in all of baseball, 15-5. They added to that record last night with a dramatic walk-off win against the Mets. Tonight, a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Garrett Jones, Marcell Ozuna, Danny Echeverria. It's Email Twitter Tuesday. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Allison Williams with you. Jones goes after the first pitch, hits it high in the air to center. And Juan Lagares is there and makes the catch. All right, Irv and Aventura. Walk-off hit by Baker on Sunday was scored a double. I thought the rule was that the game is over when the runner on third touches the plate and the hitter touches first base. The exception, of course, is the home run. My question would be, and I didn't really think of to look at the replay on this, is if Baker got to second before the run from third scored.
He might not have, but it may be in the discretion of the scorekeeper, perhaps. But it's a good question because I know what the emailer is asking.
All right, so
makes sense.
Is that a homework assignment?
No, because I don't want to take a double away from Baker. We start researching this thing, they may take it away from me.
So it would go from discretion to an indiscretion by the score. Is that what you're saying? Ozuna with the count 0-2. Colon works quickly and efficiently. He does not mess around. He strikes out Ozuna. 2 quick outs here in the 6th inning. Vicky wants to know, question about Casey McGee's last name. Everyone pronounces it McGee. Is that correct? Or is it McGeehee?
And I remember talking to him when he was in Milwaukee.
Yes.
And that was one of the first things we asked him. And it is McGee.
The hiccup is silent, or whatever you call it, in the middle of the spelling of his name.
I kind of like what Red was talking about, the challenge song.
Each manager gets their own challenge song.
Yeah.
Echeverria. That's a 6-pitch inning for Bartolo Colon. 6 innings in the books in Miami. Back-to-back walk-offs. Last time the Marlins had it. Last 2 games of last year. Remember the walk-off no-hitter on a wild pitch. And of course Henderson Alvarez was pitching. That was the Detroit series to end last year. And Alvarez is pitching quite well here tonight. He's given up 5 hits, has not given up a run. And he misses outside to Curtis Granderson. And Alvarez opens up the 7th inning with a slender pitch count of 69.
Rich, I just want our fans to know we were talking about that scoring decision on the Baker walk-off hit. And I want our fans to know that I do have a cordial relationship with Ron Jernick, scorekeeper for a good part of the Marlins games.
Sure you do.
Maybe I was talking to Ron about that. And it's one of those that could kind of go either way. And in theory and in actual fact, it probably should have been a single. But he's going to stick with double, and I told him I agreed with that. See? I agreed with him.
That's like détente. That's like the Cold War thawing. This was the shot, all synced up. We were thinking maybe Bake got to second and Etch took his time, but he's home before Bake got to first. That one lined into the seats. Granderson, Chris Young, Lucas Duda here in the 7th.
Paul sent a tweet that Red's walk-up song for challenges and reviews should be the Law and Order theme.
Got him. Granderson didn't like it. Turns around. Vic Carapaza's had a very good night behind home plate. He hadn't missed much. Let's see if he got this one.
Well, we've seen him in and out on the corners.
Oh, wow.
He has been right all night. So you're absolutely correct, Rich. Vic Carapaza with a solid night behind the plate.
The crack staff in the truck monitors the Fox tracks, and we will show it when it's a borderline pitch or an important pitch. If a pitcher disagrees or a hitter disagrees. And they've been watching that all night, and they've said that he's been sticking it all night. Now that would have taken Allison out, that ball in the camera well, but I think she's tucked safely. There she is, cozied up to that. That was headed your way, Allie. Allie, what's your walk-up song, by the way?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would definitely do something by Pink. Anything by Pink.
Okay.
That's my go-to, like Get Ready. Or Beyonce now. She's got some good jams on her new album. What was yours, Waltz, when you played?
Well, Pearl Jam wasn't recording at that time, so but that would be my choice now. Jones steps across the line nicely on the throw by McGee and gets the out at first. It's a nifty footwork by a first baseman.
A good job by Casey McGee. He knew he had to unload quickly, and then Garrett Jones realized, okay, I can get this ball on the other side in foul territory just before the runner gets there. You have to make sure you time that one just right. So good play on both ends. Yeah, I like Pearl Jam too.
Hey guys, we have a tweet from a fan, Doug Verga, big Marlins fan, who has a suggestion for Tommy's walk-up song. And guys, he says anything from Perry Como because he wore a sweater vest, just like you.
Yeah, but Springsteen's probably worn a leather sweater vest.
It might be a little more intimidating. And you'll be bringing a few, I would think, on the trip.
Yeah, San Francisco. L.A. and San Diego not needed, but certainly pack one away for San Francisco.
Lucas Duda swings and misses.
Anderson Alvarez is in a great rhythm tonight, and you could almost tell it from the first inning. He's mixed things up. He kind of went fastball and hard changeup early on, mixed it up, started to use the breaking ball a little bit.
Shallow left. Yelich is there. He makes the catch, and when you get back, he'll have a bat in his hand. And he's done some damage this year. Marlins up 3-0.
Christian Yelich will bat second in this half, and when he steps up to the plate, it should be cameras by Drake playing, but that's not always the case.
I really have no idea. They've changed mine a couple times too, and I haven't known. They just changed it to random ones. Some of the guys on the team, so it doesn't bother me. Like I don't care what walkout song I have per se.
We'll have to listen when he steps up to see if they got him again. Apparently, it's Jared Saltalamacchia that is often the one that switches up the walk-up songs. Can't get my English correct here. For the young guys, Christian Yelich has been a victim. So is Derek Dietrich. He said at one point he walked out, and Whitney Houston, I want to dance with somebody, was playing. So you have to leave it now and then. Salty will get the young guys and play something not exactly one of their favorites. Let's just put it that way.
Very nice. I wonder, and maybe this is something for the crack staff, who had the very first walk-up song?
That's a great question.
I know the Mariners in Seattle, Ken Griffey Jr. in that group. Into right center, it's deep, and Granderson runs it down. Of the late 80s, early 90s were big into their own songs. But I don't know. So that's a crack staff assignment.
Did A-Dub hear the song a little bit better for Yelich as he walked up there?
You know what? I was trying to look up first team to have the walk-up songs because you guys were just talking about it. And I want to say, I thought it was the A's, but I'm hearing that it was the Rangers.
Yelich fights that fastball off. Well, you know, you could say walk-up songs, but I think it started with actually organ music. Lou Brock back in St. Louis used to ask for the theme from Shaft before he came to the plate in the early 70s. Yelich fouls it off. For Barry Bonds, the James Bond theme back in the 90s.
Yeah, at one time, most of the ballparks, that's all they had for music was the organ.
All right, I'm on a terrific article from the San Jose Mercury News of a couple years ago, and it says the big leap at some point came in the 90s. One industry source pointed to the 1993 Seattle Mariners as the first team to do it as a ritual for nearly every hitter in the lineup. There's a strike. Michael Jackson was a reliever for the Mariners. He used to come into Thriller.
Why not?
Alvin Davis used to come up to Paul Simons. You could call me Al.
Alvin Davis, good left-handed hitter.
The A's really got into it at that time too. Dietrich, a 1-for-2 night, hit by a pitch, and singled and bounced out. One thing you've got to like about Dietrich, if you look in and around the numbers, and there's other Marlin hitters like it. Yelich is included, McGee, Saltalamacchia. That's a high on base percentage. Dietrich's on base percentage right around 375.
You know, the other thing too, Rich, in 21 games now, he's scored 15 times. So more often than not, when he gets on, he's able to come around and score.
Inside corner. Now Bartolo Colon looks sharp tonight, but Miami has those early runs, and they are standing up. 8th he goes, and he's only at 83 pitches. The Marlins and the Mets play tomorrow at 12:40. That game is not on television. How enormous would it be for Alvarez to finish this one and give the bullpen a night off, because the Marlins don't have another day off for another, 12 days?
Yeah, when the team comes back from the West Coast.
Travis d'Arnaud, Mets catcher.
That'll be Tom Kohler and Zach Wheeler in that afternoon game tomorrow. Boy, both pitchers have spotted fastballs really well.
One and two.
Just when he wants to tie up a hitter, he goes inside hard with that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Of course, Alvarez had the complete game shutout of Seattle, a 2-hitter back in mid-April. He's made 2 starts since. Stanton is back in there, and he makes the catch, and Alvarez has an out here in the 8th. All right, time for the AT&T fan photo. You can tweet it, hashtag #FLFanPhoto, a chance to get your photo on the broadcast. And here with much anticipation is the fan photo tonight. It's Caesar, our buddy in the fan cave in New York. It's got Garrett Jones, who was...
Yeah, remember he came to visit him.
And also took some batting practice with water balloons.
So Caesar having a good time right now tonight in the fan cave.
Caesar's popularity is skyrocketing in the fan cave with his brothers and sisters in the cave. Cave people, I guess.
We talked about that as Abreu pinch hits for Tejada. You talked about the complete game that Alvarez had. That's the only Marlins complete game this year.
Dietrich makes the play. Alvarez gets a guy out I'm sure that he grew up watching and rooting for. Abreu, a long-time player in the big leagues, also a Venezuelan. Alvarez is 34. And Abreu has been in the big leagues a long, long time. So he bounces out. There are 2 outs here in the 8th inning.
And another pinch hitter, Eric Young Jr.
There is a similarity between these 2 starters, Alvarez and Colon, and that is they work quickly and they're not afraid to just throw it and challenge hitters to hit it. With Alvarez, he's got that power sinker and a good live fastball. With Colon, it's just changing speeds and cutting his fastball, running it in and out.
Henderson has lowered his ERA, which was at 3.28 when he came in the game, to 2.70. And still has a little heat left.
Five strikeouts, no walks, 0-2 pitch. There's been some milling about in Miami's bullpen, but no real action. Got him inside corner. Absolutely beautiful. 8 masterful innings by Henderson Alvarez, and Vic Carapazza's been on it all night. He sticks another one. That was right on the black. Hard 3-0 Fish, bottom 8.
Well, the Marlins came out swinging and scored early against Bartolo Colon. A double off the wall by Giancarlo Stanton brought home Dietrich. And then the guy over 400 with runners in scoring position, Casey McGee, did it again. Hard base hit into right field, scoring Stanton, and the Marlins had a 2-0 lead. They handed things over to Henderson Alvarez. He's been absolutely terrific. Got some help defensively, 5-4-3 double play. He's been in the strike zone. He hasn't walked anybody all night. Nice play by Marcell Ozuna on a sinking line drive to keep a runner at third base, Juan Lagares. Then in the 5th inning, he's throwing some sliders. He's throwing the power sinker. Another good double play. Good pick by Echeverria, 6-4-3. There's another RBI by Casey McGee, and that's the way it is. 3-0, bottom of the 8th.
Bartolo Colon's night is over. A familiar sight on the mound. First we stop to say hello to Omar Quintanilla, who's out at shortstop. And now we get a chance to say hi to Jose Valverde. Valverde, a one-time closer with Detroit.
He was a one-time closer for the Mets early this year.
As good as Alvarez has been tonight, Colon was very good as well. Obviously, the Marlins got to him early. Stanton RBI double, a McGee RBI single, and then McGee another RBI single in the 5th. Toyota trend tonight. First 21 home games, most RBIs in those 21 home games in baseball history. Wow. Giancarlo Stanton, 31 RBIs at home. 31 of his 38 have been at home. And that's, for the Marlins, the challenge that starts on Thursday night, late night with the Fish. Marlins in San Diego, 4-game series in San Diego, 3-game series in Los Angeles, and then on to San Francisco for 4 there. Stanton, who always seems to hit well on the West Coast tour, on his way down to first.
I think the good thing about that, from what we've seen early on this year, is that he may have a little help on the West Coast. That towering home run at Dodger Stadium that landed in the catcher's mitt that was just kind of off to the side on the ground.
That, I believe, now exists on the 10-run reel. Here's McGee, who's had quite a night. 2 for 3, a pair of run-scoring singles. Valverde pulls that fastball outside, and it's 1-0.
Rich, you and I were talking between innings about the approach of both Colon and Henderson Alvarez. They get it. They don't waste any time. They throw a lot of fastballs. They just try to work the ball in and out.
And Alvarez sitting at 94 pitches and looks plenty rested and is well within reach of another complete game shutout. It's a tough play for Duda, and he's not going to make it. He didn't get help from Murphy, and I think if Murphy had to do it over again, he may have taken charge.
That's always an easier play for a second baseman who's got a better angle. See, Murphy's coming at an angle. Duda's going directly toward right field. Yeah, you're right. I absolutely agree. Murphy, better chance to make that catch if he takes charge.
Valverde a courtesy throw. Runner goes, swing and a miss. And Stanton swipes his 3rd bag of the year. Tomorrow closes out the series. Big Salad on the mound, 12:40 start. Remember, no television tomorrow, and it's a business person's special. Bring your office of 20 or more and take advantage of terrific ticket prices. $10 in concession credit per ticket for food and beverages. Go to marlins.com/groups. Stanton with a stolen base. We have our first email of the year from Holmes and Scruffy, who will be headed to Los Angeles and San Francisco to watch the Marlins and want information on where to drink and dine in both cities. And Scruffy wants to know, is this the best start the Marlins have ever had at home?
Marlins actually in 1997, their World Series year, were 16-5 at home after their first 21 games.
And I'll bet Jim Leyland was a nervous wreck at that point, even though his team was off to a great start.
And the odd thing about that 97 team lost 11 of their first 15 road games. And I believe overall finished under 500 on the road. One of the real similarities of the start of the 97 team and this start this year, the ERA in 97 was 2.70 after those first 20 home games, and the Marlins are on average 2.87 after the first 20 home games.
Mary Beth has been very creative with walk-up song for Mike Redmond for his challenge song. First she said it could be I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash. Here's the 1-2. A swing and a miss. Good pitch by Valverde. But I think she's also getting in on what some managers have talked about, going out there and not knowing why you're going out there, just to converse with the umpire and wait for the bench coach. So she suggests by the clash, should I stay or should I go?
And we also already got a nice thank you from Caesar. From the fan cave.
And his cave dwellers.
Yeah, you get a nice shot. TV screen.
Garrett Jones, fastball. A strike. You know what? Vic Carapazza nailed that one too. That was a pitch that Darno set up out. It came in, and it looked like, and I'm sure Jones thought it was in.
And I'll tell you how he's been consistent. A lot of times an umpire will be consistent always with the inside pitch or always with the pitch away. Maybe not get as good a look at the other one. He's been on both sides.
Remember our conversation with Jim Joyce last year in the strike zone episode. Jones fouls it back. It used to be said that all players want is consistency. And Joyce told us that the major league umpires over the last 4 or 5 years no longer go by that, because what they strive for is accuracy, and through accuracy you get consistency,
because you could be consistently bad.
Not tonight. Carapazza's been consistently very, very good. Henderson Alvarez will try to complete this game when we get back. MLB.TV Premium, #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 12 years. You can join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game streamed live, or head to any of your apps, devices. 400 mobile and connected devices. Lagares goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Alvarez goes to his knee to get out of the way of Jones.
Yeah, he was kind of wandering in the area in case he was needed to make the catch, and all of a sudden Garrett Jones did the right thing and made the call. Listen in. Good job of taking charge by Jones, and Henderson hurt him and kind of got out of the way.
In his 2-hit shutout over Seattle, Alvarez threw 90 pitches. Daniel Murphy stands in. In the win over Seattle, 2 hits, no runs, 17 ground ball outs in that Seattle game. Here tonight, he's got a dozen. If you missed any of the game tonight, you want the highlights, the early runs for the Marlins, Alvarez performance. Marlins Live brought to you by Checkers right after the ball game. But Alvarez has a ways to go here. There are relievers on standby right now. Kind of looks like at the airport out in right field, just kind of standing and watching and hoping that they don't have to come into the ball game. Steve Cishek very patiently watching. Kevin Slowey there as well. 1-2 to Murphy. David Wright is next. This will be pitch number 99. Alvarez kind of stumbled. The entertainer has been just that tonight.
Oh, he has that.
6 strikeouts, no walks, and just 5 hits. Murphy sends that one into the seats. Coming into this homestand, 2 things that the Marlins were unable to do this year. Number 1, win on the road. They couldn't do anything about that. Number 2, win in their division. They have done something about it. That is just up and just in. And you know what? Vic Carapaz has stuck that one too. That's a ball. Murphy fouls it off. The Marlins sweeping the Braves. If they win this ball game, they obviously will have won the series against the Mets, even with Game 3 tomorrow. And Miami came into the homestand with an awful record against the National League East. If they win this game, they'll move to 8-12 against the East. And then on Thursday night, they'll try to do something about the road record, which is 2-10.
One of the toughest things in this game, because there are so many games overall, so many games within the division, it's baby steps. You can't try to do it all at once.
3-2. Murphy cranks it in the gap, hits it well. That's going to be extra bases. Ozuna picks it up. Murphy's got a double. Cishek starts to throw.
He gave Henderson Alvarez a really good battle. Fouled off a number of pitches. Finally got a fastball that was a little more in and pulled it, hit it hard into the gap. There's that solid swing from Murphy, his second double.
One thing Henderson Alvarez did not do last year is give up home runs. 17 starts, just 2 home runs allowed. He did give up 2 his last start. And so as he gets to 105 pitches with this pitch to right, one thing Mike Redmond has to keep in mind is if the tying run comes to the plate and Alvarez seems to be slipping a bit.
Yeah, he's being watched closely right now by Mike Redmond. Yeah, the home runs that the Braves hit against him, Evan Gattis, B.J. Upton hit the big one, the 3-run shot.
Outside corner, ball and a strike, 1 out. Alvarez looking for his second shutout of the season. Saltalamacchia has been along for the ride. Right, 1 for 3, lined out in the 4th. Up with a fastball. The shirt has been unbuttoned throughout the night.
If he somehow does not get David Wright, I think this might be his last hitter.
Ground ball out to second. Dietrich has it, gets the out. 2 outs. And Alvarez to face Granderson now. He needs an out to get another shutout.
But he got David Wright. He's going to get one more. Ball was hit sharply. Good job by Dietrich to just hang in there and scoop up that hard ground ball.
Granderson digs in. At the letters, strike 1. Alvarez ERA has shrunk to 2.66. Murphy's at third with 2 outs. Outside corner, changeup. An out away from a shutout. It would be his second of the season. Alvarez, 0-2 coming. Got him! Ball game! Another shutout for Alvarez. Another win for the Marlins. And they shut out the Mets. The Fish are 3 over 500. They've won 7 of their last 8. Alvarez, a 2-hit shutout over Seattle. And in this one, A 6-hit shutout over the Mets.
For Henderson Alvarez, Rich, he now is tied with Johnny Cueto for the National League lead in complete games, and he leads the National League with 2 shutouts.
No walks, 7 strikeouts. A terrific night for Alvarez and the Marlins. 3-0. They beat the Mets.